Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Talk, where here in this episode we discuss one of the works of everyone's favorite poet, Shakespeare. Yeah, I know it's gonna be boring, but hear me out. Today we are taking a deeper dive at one of the most popular plays from back in time when Shakespeare was still alive. That poem being Macbeth. Here we are today, blessed with one of our wonderful hosts, such as me, Angel Ayon,
Ethan Acosta,
and Jacob Roman.
All right, so real quick, just to get everyone's mind on the topic of Macbeth, what were your guys' thoughts about the play?
I thought it was interesting because of how the characters interacted with one another and how it affected the plot. I really liked watching Macbeth's characters slowly change throughout the story.
Me personally, it wasn't really my type of book, but I do agree with Ethan. Watching Macbeth's character slowly go from a normal person and descend into madness was really enjoyable and interesting. It was also pretty realistic, which is the main part I liked about the book.
Well, to sum it all up, we will be talking about how Macbeth was able to transform himself from a person who hesitated at even the thought of murder to a person who was the main villain of the story that made everyone his enemy.
What do you guys think is the main reason for Macbeth focusing so much of his anger onto Macduff at the end of the story?
I really think it was because of the pressure the witches were putting on him.
Yeah, I think so too, because with all the prophecy going on and constantly thinking about the future is probably what made him go crazy in the first place.
Yeah, knowing you're gonna die soon can really mess with you a lot mentally, I think, and the timing was also really horrible for Macduff. Macbeth found out that Macduff was fleeing right after the second meeting with the witches, which I think also played a huge factor.
During that time, Macbeth probably had a hard time thinking and was still angry about being left with these questions, which probably put him in a vulnerable and emotional state.
Yeah, he also had a lack of advisors or friends. He only had his wife, which was already pretty dead set on setting an empire, so he decided to make this decision on his own.
From the beginning, Macbeth was hesitant about going down this path, but Lady Macbeth constantly brushing off his feelings probably led to a lot of built up anger and confusion, and because of this, he was probably believed he was too deep and had to commit to killing Macduff as soon as possible.
I feel like we're still undermining how much influence the prophecies had on Macbeth, which probably helped him down to this path because of the prophecies, which was led to believe that Macduff was the only source of danger, meaning that the most reasonable thing to do was to direct all his power towards him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Macbeth did initially come up with the plan to take over the Three Kingdoms. It was his evil personality that started this story, and I don't think we can make Macbeth out to be a victim when he started all this.
And now our word from our sponsor. Do you ever feel like your sword is always getting dirty with the blood of your enemies? Does it get rusty? Unsharp like a mace? Well, worry no longer, presents, as the new Macduff Shine is the new product that everyone is dying at. It not only sharpens your sword for their next attack, but it also makes your sword look just as new as when it came from that blacksmith of yours. Approved by the new King of Malcolm, it guarantees your sword does not only do the job it was meant to do, but makes you look stunning while doing it. Make sure to get yours in the nearest blacksmith shop in any town you're in.
I think Lady Macbeth was a strong influence on Macbeth, and that she was the biggest thing that impacted his corruption.
How so?
Mostly because of how can she convinces Macbeth to kill in the first place. For example, she calls him a coward in the last scene of Act 1, and she uses his love for her to kill to get the crown.
I remember that too, but don't you think Macbeth had any responsibility in his choices?
He might have, but because of Lady Macbeth's manipulation, it could have caused him to make those choices.
I agree with that, but it kind of makes sense that Lady Macbeth's manipulation got to him, mostly because of her role in Macbeth's life, with her being his wife and all.
Yeah, I remember that scene. She took advantage of his love for her, and she would say things like, "From now on, this is how I'll measure your love for me."
I feel like that really shows Lady Macbeth's manipulation, how it affected him, and if she considered his feelings more, then maybe they wouldn't have ended up like they did at the end of the story.
Yeah, I remember that wasn't the only time she regarded Macbeth's concerns. For example, when Macbeth was venting to his wife, she didn't take his illusions too seriously, and she kind of disregarded them in pursuit of him getting the throne.
She asked if Macbeth is mad, and then she asked if he's a man, which I think is downplaying his mental health. The statement also plays into the gender roles of the time period, where the man has to take the role of the leader, which here his wife is doing?
I think so too, and it makes sense for her to do this because her goal is to make sure that Macbeth stays at the throne, and solely that. And she convinces him to commit these crimes in order for him to maintain it, even if it's immoral. And now a word from our sponsor.
Have you ladies ever felt like combing your hair is just as bad when arguing with your husband who just doesn't listen to you?
Well, we have a solution to all those bad hair days you've experienced. Introducing new hair tonic, Lady Max. This new hair tonic makes your hair silky smooth and makes it so much easier to brush and look best for the day. Make sure that next time you're out shopping for groceries to pick up this thing of beauty that can make such a life changer for your appearance.
Let's move on from Lady Macbeth to what I think has the most influence upon Macbeth throughout the story. The witches were the groups that had the largest impact upon Macbeth's destiny on how he should be king. Don't you guys agree?
Well, I personally feel like Lady Macbeth had more influence on Macbeth than just some random deformed strangers, but you can go ahead and change my mind.
I mean, I could see how they could like come into the play on how they move the story along, but like, can you tell me what you mean?
Well, we know that they were able to predict the future, as we see in the beginning of the play, as they foretold Macbeth how he was gonna be the new Thane of Cawdor. However, the fact that they told him this planted so much than what just more meets the eye.
Are you talking about when they were putting the idea in Macbeth's head that he should kill the current king to become the new one?
Your words, not mine. But pretty much, yeah, exact point. They were able to somehow change the idea of a once noble man who would fight for the kingdom and spit upon the idea of people betraying the king, when later on he'll just go on and do exactly that. As said on Act 2, Scene 1, I go in and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is Nell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Yeah, okay. I can see how like that could work, but do you think there is any other situation that influences him?
I remember a certain scene where the witches were at Macbeth's castle, and Macbeth demands for them to answer his questions. He told them to answer his question about the future, and they had a couple things to say to him, but the one I remember the most is when they mentioned to beware of Macduff, and it sort of hints at Macbeth should do something about him.
Yeah, but didn't they also say that only a person who is not born from a woman can kill Macbeth?
They did, and I'm pretty sure Macbeth also talks about it. But as seen from this quote in Act 4, Scene 1, then live Macduff, what I need of fear of thee, but yet I'll make assurance of double sure, and take a bond of fate, those shall not live. So with the influence of the witches had on Macbeth, it also led to his downfall, as we know from the end of the play, Macduff eventually kills Macbeth, because he was ripped from the womb.
Yeah, you pretty much just say my point, as I feel like Shakespeare was trying to make that clear as well. That the witches are true to what they're saying about, but they are not certainly good people, and they kind of make fun of Macbeth because he feels anger. I also think that Shakespeare was trying to imply that people who know information that seem good for the person receiving it are not always the best choice when taking that knowledge that is presented. And I feel like things are just best left alone.
So to put it all together, what did we learn?
We learned that throughout the play, Macbeth was once a hero to all the people, able to gain trust from even the king, but turned villain through the impact of manipulation from the witches that led to his downfall. Lady Macbeth, who convinced him to murder, and Macduff, who put an end to his misery.
Well, that concludes our time here at The Talk. We were hoping we were able to bring you some thought about the rise and fall of our main Macbeth. Thank you for spending time with us, and hope you have an enjoyable day, morning, night, whatever time you're listening to this to. Come back again soon for more updates.